event that occurred on this earth on January 14th, 1957. So what is the significance of Jagadguru Divas? I am going to shed some light on the importance of this special celebration. Jagadguru. Jagat means the entire world, and Guru means spiritual master. In the Mahabharata, Arjuna addressed Sri Krishna as Jagadguru. Vasudeva sutam devam kansachanuramardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. In the Skanda Purana, the divine consort of Lord Shiva addressed him as Jagadguru. In the Bhagavatam, Shukadeva Paramhans referred to Sri Krishna as Jagadguru Sri Krishna when he praised the extreme fortune of the Braj Gopis who adored and accepted Sri Krishna as their divine beloved. So Sri Krishna is the original Jagadguru. However, in this age of Kali Yuga, this tradition of Jagadguru began with Adi Jagadguru Shankaracharya, who was recognized as the descension of Lord Shiva. The need for appointing a Jagadguru was felt when there was a lot of hypocrisy and misunderstanding prevalent in the name of religion. Most of those who preached had no clue about scriptural understanding. And thus, all the saints, they decided to appoint a personality, a saint, as someone who was well versed in scriptural knowledge based on divine experience as Jagadguru, so that people could approach him for guidance. So such a personality would be accepted as a supreme authority of scriptural knowledge. And as I mentioned, so that people could come to him for guidance. So in this way, this tradition of Jagadguru was introduced with the aim of ending all hypocrisy and also with the aim of providing guidance, knowledge, and inspiration from an authentic personality. Adi Jagadguru Shankaracharya, he established 4 mutt, or you can say centers, around India. And he appointed 4 of his disciples as Jagadguru. Thus, a hereditary, disciplined system of Jagadgurus came into existence. Although these were not the original Jagadguru. After Adi Jagadguru Shankaracharya, there were only three original Jagadgurus. By original, I mean those who are fully empowered with scriptural knowledge, proved to be prominent against debate with other contemporary scholars. So after Adi Jagadguru Shankaracharya, the three original Jagadgurus were Jagadguru Sri Ramanujacharya, Jagadguru Sri Nimbarkacharya, and Jagadguru Sri Madhvacharya. So sometime after the fourth Jagadguru was appointed, a special body of 500 eminent scholars was established and authorized to appoint a Jagadguru. So it was only after these scholars collectively and unanimously accepted a saint as the supreme authority of scriptural knowledge that he was officially appointed as Jagadguru. Until this day, this Parishad, known as Kashi Vidvat Parishad, has appointed, this Kashi Vidvat Parishad is from Banaras. So they have appointed only one saint as Jagadguru. And that is our beloved divine supreme Acharya, Jagadguruttam Shri Kripalu Mahaprabhu, our Shri Maharaj Ji. It all began in the year 1955 when Sri Maharaj Ji, he organized a grand religious conference in the holy land of Chitrakoot. This conference was attended by all the renowned saints and scholars from around India. So as the chairman of the conference, Sri Maharaj Ji presented 4 questions before the speakers and humbly requested them to answer the 4 questions for the benefit of over 200,000 gathered there. Such a vast gathering. So Sri Maharaj Ji requested them. But none of those speakers were able to satisfactorily answer those questions. Some even criticized those questions. Eventually, Sri Maharaj Ji was challenged to answer them himself. And that was Sri Maharaj Ji's first public lecture in the year 1955. Up to the time of the conference, devotees had observed. They had seen Sri Maharaj Ji in very deep, intense, devotional samadhi. Oblivious to the outside world, they witnessed Sri Maharaj Ji drowned and absorbed in the supreme state of divine love ecstasy. it was after age 28 that Sri Maharaji subsided and concealed his state of divine love ecstasy in order to reveal his inner ocean of divine wisdom and selflessly serve and enlighten deserving souls. So everyone in this conference was amazed to hear this young man of only age 32 speak with such incredible and amazing mastery of all the scriptures. Sri Maharaji's devotees were even more astonished because they had never seen Sri Maharaji study a single book ever before. They were all wondering and curious as to where he had hidden this unlimited treasure of divine wisdom. So the vice chairman of Kashi Vidvat Parishad, along with 12 other scholars, was present at the conference. And these scholars were simply astounded by Sri Maharaj's vast and profound knowledge of all the scriptures. And they all returned to Kashi, praising Sri Maharaj's unprecedented knowledge to no end at all. And so this praise was skeptically accepted or heard. Other scholars, when they heard it skeptically, they thought that it was just an exaggeration. How could a young man of only age 32 be the master of all so many hundreds of scriptures when it takes almost an entire lifetime to master one, only one scripture in our Hindu Dharma, in Sanatan Dharma? To master only one, it takes almost an entire lifetime, and maybe even that. But the constant praise that they were hearing about Sri Maharaji sparked their curiosity. Their curiosity. So the following year, in 1956, Sri Maharaji organized another grand religious conference similar to the one in Chitrakoot, but this one was in Kanpur in the year 1956. So the president of Kashi Vidvat Parishad, Raj Narayan Shastri, he just came there unannounced. He just turned up because he wanted to find out the truth for himself. So when Sri Maharaji heard of his arrival, he was invited by Sri Maharaji to come to the stage and offered him, honored him, and asked him to speak first. But he declined because his intention was to list all the mistakes as he was expecting Sri Maharaji to make, to list all of them and point them out in front of the vast gathering of everyone in that assembly. So he sat down with a pen and paper, and he was already waiting to list mistakes. But miraculously, his hand did not move. He did not write anything on that piece of paper as he just sat there totally captivated and enthralled from beginning to end. That piece of paper that he sat with remained blank. So Raj Narayan Shastri, he was left spellbound and terribly speechless. So he asked, he said that he was not going to speak on that day, but he asked to be the first speaker the following day. So when he went up to speak the following day, Sri Maharaji also sat with pen and paper to list his mistakes. But Sri Maharaji's pen did not move either, because his speech was nothing except for the endless praise of Sri Maharaji. That's all it was. That's what his speech was all about. So he returned to Kashi and he could not stop praising Sri Maharaji. So those scholars who did not hear Sri Maharaji, they decided to test Sri Maharaji's knowledge. They decided to test his knowledge. So the same question intrigued their minds, that how could a young man of only age 32 be the master of so many hundreds of scriptures? So they decided to invite Sri Maharaji to Kashi. And Sri Maharaji graciously accepted their invitation. And they asked Sri Maharaji to deliver his lectures in Sanskrit, which Sri Maharaji, until then, did not deliver any lectures in Sanskrit. So he accepted that also. And Maharaji spoke for 9 consecutive days. 9 consecutive days he spoke. So on the very first day, he spoke in very simple Sanskrit. But every day thereafter, he raised the level of Sanskrit to such a level, that it surpassed the intellectual capacity or intelligence of even the topmost scholars over there. So at the end of the 9 days, the president invited all the scholars to hold Sri Maharaji, to hold a debate against Sri Maharaji. So those scholars said, they said that we can easily challenge an ordinary scholar. We can easily do that. But Sri Maharaji far exceeds our scriptural understanding and demonstrates an unparalleled grace in his personality. How could we even think of holding a debate against him? So, the very next day, which was January 14th, 1957, all the scholars of Kashi Vidvat Parishad, they unanimously bowed to the divine glory of Sri Maharaji, and they honored him with the title of not just Jagadguru, but Jagadguruttam, means the greatest amongst all the 4 preceding Jagadgurus. And the 4 preceding Jagadgurus, Adi Jagadguru Shankaracharya, Adi Jagadguru Sri Ramanujacharya, Adi Jagadguru Sri Nimbarkacharya, and Adi Jagadguru Sri Madhvacharya. So Jagadguruttam, they recognized that the young personality seated in front of their eyes, who so easily reconciled the philosophies of the 4 preceding Jagadgurus, was not an ordinary preacher, but a divine personality. They realized that no person could possibly possess such a depth of unlimited, infinite divine knowledge. And as a result of what they witnessed, they joyously proclaimed that Sri Maharaji was supreme, the greatest amongst the 4 preceding Jagadgurus. And therefore, they honored Sri Maharaji with the title of Jagadguruttam. Uttam means the highest and the greatest. In addition, seeing the deep divine love, ecstasy of Radha Krishna love in Sri Maharaji's personality, they honored Sri Maharaji with the title of Bhakti Yoga Rasa Avatar, means the supreme descension of Bhakti Yoga, of Bhakti. So, in this way, Sri Maharaji was honored with this title of Jagadguruttam. These are, as I just narrated, the events that led up to that day when Sri Maharaji was recognized and honored and acknowledged as the 5th original Jagadguru. And also, within this celebration, from a devotional perspective, there is a deep message. A deep message. And this message, it echoes throughout all the celebrations that we honor, that we celebrate throughout the Hindu calendar. This one message. And what is that message? That message is, ज्ञान वह है जो राधा कृष्ण में राग उत्पन्न करे, और भक्ति वह है जो उनसे मिलने की व्याकुलता बढ़ाए. Knowledge is that which introduces love for Radha Krishna. And bhakti is that which develops deep longing for them in the heart. जीवन थोड़ा है, इसे भगवत सेवा में लगा दो, तथा हर समय हरि गुरु कृपा का अनुभव करो. Life is short. Life is short. Use it for the divine service. And feel the grace of your master and Radha Krishna in your heart all the time. यह संसार ऐसा ही रहेगा, लेकिन तुम समाप्त हो जाओगे. अतः श्री रासेश्वरी राधा रानी तथा श्याम सुंदर से प्यार कर लो. The elusive charm and disappointments of this world will always be there, but your life will be finished. So, before it is too late, start loving Shri Raseshwari Radharani and Shyam Sundar. Shyam Shyama Hiye, Shyam Shyama Jiye, Shyam Shyama Ratihi, Shyam Shyama Gatihi. Remember Shama Sham. Live for Shama Sham. Desire Shama Sham. And be with Shama Sham forever. This is the quintessence of Bhagavatam. So this message, it echoes throughout every celebration. Let us think about this. Today we're honoring Jagadguru Divas. In 2019, we honored Jagadguru Divas. Previous to that in 2018. And for many, many years previous to that. So while we are celebrating, it is only natural that we are overcome with feelings of detachment from the world, appreciation for this path and the teachings and the countless blessings that are consistently showering upon us. Our heart is filled with gratitude. We feel remorseful for being negligent and careless. We're overcome with these emotions. And while the goal is that we retain those feelings within us, the thrill, the enthusiasm, the passion that we feel, but before too long, our worldly, filthy, polluted mind, it sways us. We get swayed by our mind. And we fall back into our old habits. Into our old habits. And we keep justifying our negligence in so many different ways. But this happened, and this happened, and this and that, and the other thing. This is all justification. Because after the celebration is over, we put the world first in front of us. The celebration is over. It's over. It's done with. We'll wait another year to feel that passion, that thrill, that gratitude. But that is not our goal. So we are swayed by our mind. In other words, we fall prey to the dictates of our mind. We allow our mind to govern us in everything that we do. We become slaves to our mind. Once there was a disciple who asked his guru, "Why can't my mind engage in meditation? Though I try day and night, this wretched mind wanders from one place to another. I grab hold of it, and no sooner have I done so than it has gone off again." So the guru smiled compassionately at the disciple, but uttered no words in response. So the disciple thought his question was pivotal. How could he make progress unless he gets an answer from the guru? So one morning, the guru invited the disciple to go to accompany him on his morning walk through the forest. It wasn't long before the guru paused and, pointing to some excrement, he said to the disciple, "Do you see those worms crawling all over that filth?" "Yes, Guruji," replied the disciple. "I want you to pick up one of those worms and gently place it on the flower, on that fragrant flower." So the disciple did as he was told. And within seconds, the worm is slithered off the flower through the moist grass of the forest floor back onto the feces. So the guru asked the disciple, "Did you understand? Did you understand? You asked why you cannot engage your mind in meditation, and this little fellow gave you the answer." So with palms joined and feeling a little red-faced, the disciple asked his guru. He humbly asked him to explain. "Please explain what you mean." So the guru said, "Just as this worm is conditioned to loving excrement, thinking and believing that there is nothing better, bound by Maya, your mind is accustomed to loving the hollow and illusionary happiness of this world. You cannot sustain meditation on your beloved because your mind is still attached to the world, thinking there is pleasure in it." Thinking there's pleasure in it. Just as if an insect that lives and breathes in a drain was to be placed in a bottle of perfume, it would die. A drunkard lying in the gutter, if he was asked, "Why didn't you go home?" he says, "This is my home." So in the same way, due to our practice over infinite lives, we habitually think that this world is a source of pleasure. It's a source of joy. So Sri Maharaj tells us that until we forcibly convince our intellect using spiritual knowledge and strengthen it by correct spiritual practice, our mind will continue to think that there is pleasure in what is in comparison to the unlimited, infinite divine love of God. Our mind will continue. So what is that practice? First and foremost, Sri Maharaji tells us, how many times have we heard Sri Maharaji alert us and warn us to the fact that our mind is our greatest enemy. Man ko mano shatru uski sunahu jani kachu pyare. Man ko mano shatru uski sunahu jani kachu pyare. Sunahu jani kachu pyare. So Sri Maharaji tells us that our mind alone, our mind is our greatest enemy. And that we should never listen to our mind, because our mind, being a product of Maya, will only lead us down the path where there's nothing but pits and falls and darkness. That is where it's going to lead us always. So, the mind must be trained. That is what we have to do. We have to focus on, instead of focusing on being swayed by the mind, we have to focus on overcoming or counteracting the tendencies of the mind through spiritual sadhana. And what is that sadhana? And again, through Sri Maharaj's lectures, we have all heard repeatedly that the one sadhana that Sri Maharaji emphatically recognizes, tells us, and advises us to practice is Roopdhyan. Loving remembrance of our beloved Hari and Guru. Because the theory of the science is Vishayan dhyayataschittam vishayeshu vishajyate mamanusmarataschittam mayeva praviliyate. Bhagavatam. Veda Vyas in the Bhagavatam tells that when we repeatedly obsess, infatuate with an object or a person in the world, thinking that they are a source of happiness, then our mind becomes attached to them. And by thinking that divine love, perfect happiness, Hari and Guru are the embodiment of that, bringing these thoughts repeatedly in our mind, repeatedly thinking, and reminding ourselves through sadhana, our mind will begin to get attached to Hari and Guru. So the mind has that power. It's like wet mud. We can mold it however we want it. Just like the potters, when they make pottery, they use clay to make different pots and different things. So our mind can be molded. How? Through thinking, through chintan, through meditation, through remembrance. So Roopdhyan, simply put, is something that we practice even in our life, in the world. So what is Roopdhyan? Simply put, Roopdhyan is spending time with Hari and Guru. and solitude. And when I say solitude, even in satsang with other devotee brothers and sisters, we're still alone. Satsang, even congregational satsang, where there's other devotees present as well, we're still. Satsang is really about us and Hari Guru, and not anyone else is sitting around us. It's not about anybody else. It's only about us and them. So whether we're doing it in our personal private space at home in solitude, or we're doing it by coming to the center, satsang. So it is spending time with Hari and Guru. You see, in the world, if we take a worldly example, in the world, let us suppose a boy and a girl, they see each other, they feel an attraction toward one another. They may feel an attraction to one another, but they don't necessarily love each other. They feel attracted. There's attraction, but that love, the affinity, or you may call it attachment of their heart and mind toward each other, that infatuation, how does that develop? How? They spend time together. That's what happens. They spend time together and they obsess on each other's virtues and attributes, thinking of each other as being a source of happiness, always trying to please, to appease, always trying to pacify or even gratify the other person in so many different ways. So, spending time together is what induces that affinity and that attachment. And that attachment grows to such a point and to such a limit that even when they're not together, subconsciously, they're remembering each other. They're thinking about each other. How? Because of the time they spend together. So Roopdhyan is exactly that. We spend time with Radha Krishna. We spend time with them. And when we spend time with them, what do? Well, what do we do in the world? We talk. We share our thoughts, our feelings, sentiments. That's what we do. So when we spend time with Radha Krishna, that is what we do, as we talk to them. And when we talk to them, Sri Maharaj tells us that we ask them, beg them for their divine love and their divine servitude. So, what should we talk about? Oh, my beloved Krishna, for uncountable lifetimes, I desired the happiness of my soul. But there always remained a discontent, an inner demand which caused my mind to look for its fulfillment through material means. Suffering the disappointments of this world, I lived so long. But now I understand that my soul was longing for you. and my heart desired your association. O form of kindness, Shri Krishna. Since eternity, you were mine, and I was yours. Jeevan Kunj Bihari Pranadhana Jeevan Kunj Bihari Prana Dhana Tum to rahe Sanatan Hamare Tum to rahe Sanatan Hamare ho rahi tihari prana dhana ho rahi tihari prana dhana. So, O form of kindness, Shri Krishna, since eternity, you were mine, and I was yours. You have always waited for me with your open arms to embrace. And I was always lost in material fancies and ignored your grace. But now I feel that I belong to you. O ocean of love, Shri Krishna, and my soul-loving Radhe. Your love is my only desire, and your service is my only wish. You are the soul of my soul and the life of my life. You are the joy of my heart and the liveliness of my mind. So I need you. Please come into my life and fill my heart with love and longing. And make me your own forever. This is how we should talk to them. And when we talk to them from our heart, when our call is sincere, when we really mean it, not like Sri Maharaj says, superficially we say thank you and sorry. No. When we mean it in our heart, then they hear it. Our call goes all the way to Divine Vrindavan. They hear it. And they want to come. And they come. But unfortunately, they cannot reveal themselves to us because our heart, our pot is still polluted. But every prayer, every moment of sadhana that we offer to them, they hear. It is heard. So Sri Maharaji has advocated, taught us this sadhana. And this sadhana alone is the elixir of our devotional life. This Roopdhyan. So, when we practice this sadhana, then we can enslave them. Enslave them. And when we continue to practice, when we continue to feel what we're feeling right now, when we firmly resolve to be dedicated, to be committed to them, so that one day we may realize their love, then only the purpose of this celebration can be and will be gratified. So, yes, we're honoring Jagadguru Divas, Jagadguruttam Jayanti, but the message that echoes is this. This is what we should behold in our heart. Behold in our heart. Behold in our heart. So, with these words, I conclude my pravachan. We will do kirtan. And then we have some special footage for us to deepen our love and dedication to Sri Maharaji.